Okay guys, we've covered Terminators 1, 2, and 3. This will be the final Terminator review before we get to Genesis, which comes out, I believe, first week of July. So anyway, let's cap it off with Terminator Salvation. Terminator Salvation stars Christian Bale, Sam Worthington, and is directed by McG. So guys, for this review, there's a lot going on in Terminator Salvation. There might be some spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you go watch it before you watch this review, because for me to do the review I want to do, I might have to talk about some spoilers. So in Terminator Salvation, Marcus Wright, played by Sam Worthington, he donates his body to Skynet because he's on death row. And I like that opening scene. Helena Bonham Carter, she has cancer. She's trying to get him to sign the form, and Marcus Wright says, "I'll sign the form, but it'll cost you a kiss." And then he kisses her, and then he says, "I just wanted to see what death tastes like." That's some cold shit right there. So throughout the movie, we're kind of following Marcus Wright. He's the main character of the movie, and he wakes up in 2018 and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. And throughout the movie, he stumbles upon a few people. He stumbles upon Kyle Reese, played by Anton Yelchin, and later he joins forces with Blair, played by Moon Bloodgood. And then eventually they go through this landmine, and that's where things get a little bit rotten in Denmark, because he walks across the landmine field, and the landmine is magnetic and it's attracted to his body. And so then he explodes, and then we find out that he is in fact a Terminator. So throughout the movie, John Connor is kind of perplexed by this whole situation, because his whole life he's dealt with Arnold's version of the Terminator and the T-1000, and so he never suspected anything like this. And so he has a lot of trust issues with Marcus. And what I really liked about Terminator Salvation is it's its own world. It's trying to take the Terminator franchise and maybe tell you another side of it. As you know, Arnold isn't in this movie for most of the movie. We see a little segment of him at the end. We see the T-800s for the first time coming right off the assembly line. But that's the only time you see Arnold. He's not a major player in this movie at all. This is more about the beginnings of the Resistance and their fight against Skynet. And I love the tone of this movie. The cinematography is beautiful. It's very muted. Like I mentioned in the Terminator 3 review, this one actually has a director's stamp on it. McG does a really good job of making every frame in this movie interesting looking. And I also like that we get to see a lot of the Terminators, a lot of different models. You get to see the T-600, the T-800. You get to see these freaking giant Terminators that look like Transformers. You get Terminators in the water. Even the motorcycles are Terminator models. And I like that because it gave you a lot to play with in this. Also thought Sam Worthington played Marcus Wright very well. He was a really compelling character, and he was really interesting the whole time. Because you never knew where he was going to go or what was going to happen with his character. And there's a lot of parallels to the original Terminator in the way some of the scenes are shot. Like when he is defending Blair, one of the guys punches him, and then he turns his face just like a Terminator. So he's discovering, as we the audience are discovering, his Terminator characteristic. This movie's kind of broken up into 3 acts. The first act is kind of what I like to call the Kyle Reese act, where Marcus stumbles upon Kyle Reese and they're helping each other out. And then the second act is him with Blair getting to the Resistance. And then the third act is just the kitchen sink. The Resistance infiltrates Skynet with the help of Marcus, and we get to see an actual Terminator assembly line, which was really cool. And I'm going to mention the scene with John Connor versus the T-800. I remember seeing that scene in the theater, and I was blown away, because luckily I didn't know anything about that scene. And it was a nice surprise to see something like that, to see Arnold at least make a brief appearance in the movie, even though it's not really him. There are maybe a couple of cons about this movie. Christian Bale, I don't think he was a good choice for John Connor, because he seems kind of cold and distant throughout the whole movie. And you can kind of tell that it must have been a stressful set, because we saw a little peek behind the scenes with his tantrum because of the lighting guy, and maybe he just was going through a stressful time in his life or something. But I didn't think he gave his all in that role. I mean, there's a couple scenes where he does shine, and you know what, he's a great actor, so there's never any bad acting moments or anything. It's just he felt kind of distant. Whereas I thought Nick Stahl might have been the better choice from Terminator 3. I thought he did a really good job in Terminator 3. He really cared about that character. The same with Claire Danes. I thought she should have been in this movie instead of Bryce Dallas Howard. She didn't really have a lot to play with. I mean, she was pregnant. I don't know if she was pregnant in real life, but she was pregnant throughout the whole movie, and her character was kind of annoying. Also, I gotta mention, Terminator Salvation might have been the worst marketing campaign that I can possibly think of, because they pretty much gave everything away in the trailers. And finding out that Marcus Wright was in fact a Terminator, if I didn't know that going into this movie, I think I would have really enjoyed it a lot more. Still to this day, I don't understand why they had to reveal that in the trailer. Talk about a bonehead move on Warner's part. And I don't think they've learned, because they're kind of doing the same thing with Genesis. The last trailer I saw for Genesis, I'm not going to tell you what I saw just in case you haven't seen the trailer, but oh my god, they gave away so much stuff that I definitely did not want to know. And I'm kind of pissed off about it. Having said that, guys, I really enjoyed Terminator Salvation. It showed us a different side of the whole Terminator saga, and I would definitely give it a purchase worthy. Well guys, that wraps up my Terminator reviews until we see the new movie Genesis. Click below, you can click on my playlist and you can watch all 4 Terminator reviews. So anyway guys, thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe. I'm almost at 300 subscribers, and I can't believe that. And I'm gonna tell you guys, if you guys want to do movie reviews, if I can do it, I promise you can do it. Because if you go back and watch my first review for Predestination, I'll post a link for it below, you can see I was nervous as shit. But now I'm really enjoying doing this with you guys, so thank you so much. So subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks so much for watching, and Humdrum out.